Do you struggle with social media as a real estate agent? You're not sure what to post, you're not sure where to post, and you're just overwhelmed by the amount of work that it takes on social media. I get it. Look, I totally feel your pain. I felt the same way before I started looking into what others were doing. And what I found along the way is that there's some proven models, systems, strategies, and tactics for real estate agents to use in social media to help you launch, build, and scale profitable real estate businesses. So today I'm bringing in a social media expert, somebody who's a tops in their field in LinkedIn. Um, I'm really excited to show you um, how to use LinkedIn in a major way to build an audience that attracts clients, allows you to sell more homes, and so forth. But first, before I introduce our guest, which I just gave you a little hint at, is I want to thank all of our live viewers today. Please let me know that you're here in the chat box. I see Fanny's already chatting in there. I'm giving you guys a little insight as to who we may have on here if you do know who I'm talking about. But I want to just say hello to our live viewers. Let me know that you're here in the chat box. It's so important to us. It's great to see you. I love interacting with you guys and knowing that you're here. I also want to thank our replay viewers. So if you're watching this live show, this live episode after it's already aired, that's great. I want to encourage you to go ahead and ask your questions, put your comments down in the chat box down below. And then lastly, and maybe most importantly, I want to thank anyone who's new to the channel, who's tuning in for the first time. We've never met, and this is our first introduction. Thank you so much. Let me know that you're here. Again, use the chat box, say hello, type new in the chat box. And if you're watching this, a replay again on YouTube, I want you to go ahead and comment down below. Also, lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It always helps me when our subscribers are subscribing and they're interacting, and it certainly means a lot to me as well. And I want to thank you guys for that. It's really, really easy to subscribe to the channel there. It's Jeff Ruby on YouTube.com. There we have it. Thank you guys. You know what? Let's jump right into it. So I gave you a little hint there before, but I want to get here going. My guest today is one of the top LinkedIn content strategists in the industry. And she works with coaches and consultants all across the globe in multiple industries to help them create digital content and video strategies that allow them really to take charge of their personal branding, create value for others, build engaged communities, and so much more. All of the things that us as real estate agents have to be focused on in building a modern real estate business. So without further ado, I want to bring in Fanny Dunnigan. Welcome to the show, Fanny.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited that you are here. It's been a little while. So you had recently, you just had an opportunity to visit some family that you hadn't in a while.
Yes. I went up to, I grew up in Canada. So for all of you out there that might be from Toronto, that's where I'm originally from. And I was able to kind of finally visit my mom after 2 years due to COVID. And so it was so nice. It was during the Thanksgiving break, and it was much needed.
Good. That is fantastic. I know before we came on, we had chatted about this, and I was like, gosh, that's so cool. You know, being away from family for so long, especially your mom, and you mentioned she lives alone, and so.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
That's great.
So, Fanny, tell us a little bit about LinkedIn. You know, tell us a little bit. I want to know actually how you got involved with LinkedIn, to be honest with you. Let's just jump into a little backstory. So I think it's really important for our listeners and our viewers to know, like, really who you are and your evolution to how you got to where you're at. And then, of course, we're going to share all kinds of frameworks and strategies and tactics and tips and really good stuff for all the agents watching.
Absolutely. Just a quick shout out to Scott Simpson. That's where Jeff and I met at the Video Marketing World Conference. So I just wanted to give Scott a quick shout out there. Yeah, I kind of did a whole bunch of stuff. I started off as an engineer, so total geek. But I moved into business consulting. And so I did a whole good decade in corporate. And from there, I decided to take some time off to be a stay-at-home mom. And from there, I ended up getting into helping my local outreach center with training programs and job fairs. And in order to promote those job fairs, we ended up having to do tons of marketing on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And that's when I fell in love with video content and digital marketing and creating posts for job seekers and employers. And even though I've kind of gotten out of the job search side of things, I still just love interacting with people digitally these days, just because we can't always meet up with each other anymore. But it was from that experience of promoting these job fairs and helping, employers and job seekers that I ended up falling in love with video marketing. And LinkedIn just became my jam. It was where I was able to kind of interact with corporate people from across different industries. And I'm a big geek, so I was always into technology, and I met tons and tons of people. In fact, speaking of real estate, I just recently sold my house and bought a new home, and my real estate agent was somebody I met on LinkedIn, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So first of all, congratulations. I hope you had a great experience working with your agent.
I did.
And so
Yes.
now let's transition into that. Let's dispel the myth that LinkedIn is only for job searchers and recruiters and employment, because quite frankly, originally
No.
that's what I thought with LinkedIn, and it hasn't been a big part of my
Yeah.
social media. So how do you explain that?
Well, I think it kind of happened 3 or 4 years ago when LinkedIn started adding a video feature. And that's when there was a whole bunch of people that got on and started to kind of just share things outside of job search, from their journeys as entrepreneurs to business tips and advice. And I wanted to quote some statistics for you, Jeff, and your audience. In the last year, especially during COVID, LinkedIn had 15 times more content impressions than job postings. And it's really the LinkedIn content creation has increased by 60% in 2020 alone. So
Wow.
we've kind of gone from going to LinkedIn to apply for jobs to now we're going to LinkedIn for learning, for education, for business, entrepreneurship, networking. And it's become this almost like a learning platform and a networking platform. So it's really, really blossomed over the last few years. And especially for those that are in business to business, B2B, it's a gold mine. It's really one of the most, if you look at it, it's one of the most affluent networks and platforms out there.
So if we're talking about the most affluent platform out there, we can make the assumption that the eyeballs and the people that are there, maybe that's where the money is, right?
Yes,
What do we
yes,
say in business? Follow the
exactly.
money.
To put it bluntly, that is exactly where it is. Because in no other platform are you going to be able to see someone's job title, what company they're with, and then some of their connections and network, right? And you can immediately get a sense of what industry they're in, what they might be interested in, where they're located. There's so much information on LinkedIn when you look up somebody.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that as far as just like a database of just a ton of really good information,
Yeah.
as opposed to, I'm not busting on cat videos, but cat videos are things that we might see scrolling through Facebook or even Instagram and even YouTube, unless we're really searching for our content there.
And people are in a business mind frame, when they're on LinkedIn, they're still kind of looking for maybe industry news, and in this case, maybe real estate news or, all that. So they're looking for that kind of business information on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Well, you have some friends saying hi. It looks like Anna is
Yes.
saying hi to Fanny.
Shout out to Anna. She's a huge podcaster advisor. So she's
Awesome.
awesome. Mhm.
That's great. Well, Anna, thanks for joining us. This is great. We have so many great comments here in the chat. I'm sharing some of those up here so Fanny can see what's going
Oh,
on. And
Brayden. Awesome.
super, super cool that you guys are here. Now, you mentioned really good for business to business. Now, as a real estate agent or someone who's
Mhm.
thinking about getting into real estate who may be watching this,
Yeah.
understand that business to business relationships are extremely important for real estate agents. Now, are
Mhm.
they buyers and sellers? No, not necessarily, but there are over
Mhm.
15 different trades that are involved in every real estate transaction. So
Oh,
these are
yeah.
other business professionals such as lenders, title companies, inspectors, appraisers. You can boil that down to furnace, HVACs, very specific things, termite control. Having
Yeah.
relationships with these people is extremely important as you're building out a business that should eventually lead to a lot of referral business. So keep that in
Absolutely.
mind. And also with the model that we work off of at eXp Realty, you have the opportunity to network with other real estate business professionals to link arms, share content, build business relationships, and see where it goes from there as far as building your modern day network. So, Fanny, we have a few questions I want to just jump right into.
Yeah.
Let's
Actually,
provide some really,
Jeff, can
tactical.
I do you
Yeah,
mind if I just add a quick thing to what you just said about the business to business? Just real quick.
please. Of course.
So one of the things, like the agent that I ended up using, Lindy Chapman, um, shout out to her. One of the things that she concentrates on, and even for your team and other real estate agents, don't forget about relocation clients on LinkedIn. Right? You have businesses that might be relocating from one state to another or moving their employees from one state to another. And so that's a great demographic and network that you can also kind of leverage on LinkedIn, because companies are moving their employees from state to state and city to city, and that's when they, from a relocation standpoint, that's when they're going to be looking for agents or people offering expertise in a certain city or area.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad that you added that piece because that gives an additional
Mhm.
layer of value and hope for real estate agents to be using LinkedIn. I know
For
I'm certainly
sure.
going to start utilizing that. So let's jump into exactly how do we do
Let's.
that. So how do we let's say like the four main purposes
Mhm.
of LinkedIn for content.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, when people kind of like stare at this blank post and like, what do I say? What do I post? Right? What you can do is just narrow it down to kind of four purposes of your what you're going to write or post. Number one is education, right? What kind of educational value can you put out there, right? Advice, tips. The best thing I always tell people to start with is jot down the 10 most frequently asked questions that you always get, right? As a real estate agent, what are the 10 most frequent questions you always get? And then create a video or a piece of content to answer each one of those questions, right? So you're educating your audience and giving advice and tips. That would be number one. Number two is to inform people, like inform them of events or webinars or conferences or open house or educational seminars that you might be putting on, right? Inform them of what's happening in and around your city and your area. Number three is to inspire people, right? So number one and two, educate and inform, that's what I call like feeding the head, right? You're giving information. But number three and four, three is to inspire. That's when you want to touch people's hearts, right? Share a story of a challenge you faced recently and how you overcame it. Share an inspirational quote that lifts you up during a bad day, right? And then number four, entertain, right? Make people smile, make people laugh, bring some joy into their life. God knows we all need some
Right.
optimism and positivity nowadays, right? Um, And if you're funny, then go with that. Like, be yourself, be funny. And I don't think I'm very funny. So what I do is I tell people to like think of their hobbies and weave in their hobbies and tie that into a business idea or a business analogy. If you love golf, then talk about a leadership idea and tie it to like a golf story or an analogy and so forth. So educate, inform, inspire, and entertain. And with those four purposes, you're going to touch their heads as well as their hearts and make them feel something. And that's the whole purpose of content.
Yeah, that is great on so many levels, especially when you brought up that golf example.
Yeah.
We talk a lot in my organization about being your true authentic self and really working to establish what that is and figuring it out. And it comes down to doing the things that you enjoy doing. And here's a little pro tip with that. The things that we enjoy doing in life are things that we're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're good at it, we should be able to share that gift. We should be able to share that with the world. And we don't know what opportunities may come about as a result of working towards figuring that out. So when you can do that from the standpoint of especially number 4, what you said was entertain.
Yeah.
That's what people are going to connect with. And that way they'll be open to your education. They'll be
That's the
open
X
to being
factor.
the X factor, right? So for
Yeah.
those of you watching, I hope the wheels are spinning on some ideas on how you can educate your potential real estate clients, how you can inform your potential or current or future real estate clients, and then of course how you can inspire them. And then lastly, of course, entertain. So those are 4 great main purposes. There's a ton of content that can go into all of those.
And even like with regards to like entertain and hobbies for real estate agents, like if you love food, right, then always weave in like great restaurants in the area that you're selling real estate in, right? But if you're like a stay-at-home mom that like I used to be, and now you're a real estate agent, and so motherhood and parenting is important to you, then weave in like good school districts or like, childcare or children facilities and things like that into your content. So go with, to Jeff's point, go with what you're good at, right? And talk about what you're good at and weave that into your real estate educational strategies.
Okay, got it. Now, for those that are thinking, yeah, well, I already do that on Facebook, why should they do it on LinkedIn?
Well, it's a whole other audience, right? It's a whole other audience that are the thing you have to do with LinkedIn is to tweak things so that it's not just about like sharing a place, right? It's also like weaving in educational things. Like, so let's say I'm not even looking for a house, right, on LinkedIn. However, tell me about like the latest jobs and the latest economic updates in your city, right? And what's going on. Like I have a client that are franchise consultants, right? And they not only talk about franchising, but they talk about like the latest news in that city, right? So there'll be like, oh, Tesla is moving to Texas, right? That means more jobs for us. That also means more people will be relocating to Texas, right? And so they weave in all these extra things so then I'm not just following you for real estate news. I'm also following you for economic updates, city updates, new developments in your area. And then that way you almost become like a mini channel of that city or state that you're promoting or that area. And so even though I don't want to buy a house yet, I already starting to follow you for the latest news and updates of that city. And so that by the time I do want to buy a house, I'm going to think of you first, right? Because you provided so much value to me.
Yeah. And it's so really if you're posting on Facebook and you are doing and you're tapping into these 4, take the same content and put it on LinkedIn because like Fanny said, it's a whole new audience. There's of course going to be some overlap, but it's overall a different audience that really gravitates towards LinkedIn. And remind us of those numbers again, Fanny, as far as the content you mentioned at the beginning.
In 2020, there's been a 60% increase in LinkedIn content creation. 60%. right?
Over the year before?
All over the year before. All eyes on digital, right? All eyes on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And there's actually been 15 times more content than job postings on LinkedIn. Yeah.
That was the big one.
Mhm.
That was definitely the big one. Okay, good. A lot
Hey,
of it,
Scott Simpson in the Facebook chat.
yes, there's Scott. He did hear you.
Thanks
He
to
knew you were in the
Scott.
house.
Thanks for
So
introducing Jeff and I.
yes, exactly. Thank you, Scott. Good to see you here, buddy. Let's talk, since you mentioned that those huge increases in numbers year over year, a lot of it you mentioned was due to video and bringing
Mhm.
video back, bringing video into LinkedIn and being able to go live
Yeah.
on LinkedIn like we are now.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about like the importance of that like accelerator program? Because I think for real estate agents,
Yeah.
this is really important for those of you who are tapping into doing video or wanting to do video and how to integrate this with LinkedIn. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. I do want to clarify, like it's two separate things. So like the Creator Accelerator program, that was something recently offered by LinkedIn. They were offering, I think, $15,000 or something for anybody that was going to apply, and they were going to take them through this program to help them create more content on LinkedIn. So that in itself just demonstrates how committed LinkedIn is to more content creation on their platform. Um, but on separately is this importance of video, right?
Yeah.
What we post can be just information, but you know, what was that thing? Like a picture is 1,000 words, but a video is actually like 1,000,000 words, because
Yeah.
video shows, look, movement, body language, tone, energy, everything, right? And it's through video that you create trust. Right. And the other day, Jeff and I, you and I were talking about, you know, we buy from people we know, like, and trust, right? So you can't reach everybody by meeting them face to face, but if you put yourself out on video and you are authentic about it and you kind of just share with people exactly who you are, those that gravitate to you, you're going to build trust through a lens, basically. And and so that by the time they are ready to buy, they already feel like they know you, right? If I watch enough videos, if I watch 10 videos of you, Jeff, right, over time, I'm going to start to feel like I know who Jeff is, right? And over time, it's going to make it so much easier for me to pick up the phone or message you and say, hey, you know, all those real estate videos you've been putting on, I've been thinking about looking for a home in that area. I'd love to chat with you. And so,
Yeah, and that's for real estate agents, those are the people you want to work with. You know, and if you're a new agent getting into the business and you're thinking, yeah, but I'll take any business right now. I understand that mindset and I appreciate that as well. Yet at
yeah,
the same time, it's super important to establish your own brand, which is going to dovetail us
yes,
into what we talk about next, because that's who people are going to work with. It doesn't matter what flag you fly, what company you're with.
yeah,
It really doesn't, you guys. It's about who you are and your branding. And to be able to get that out there is
mhm,
super, super important. And now that LinkedIn has adopted more video, that's a huge catalyst in why we should be on there, putting more content on LinkedIn.
for sure.
Fanny, can we transition into building a brand on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn, or is anything else that you wanted to share as far as
I just happened to see a question from Heidi saying, "How long should a video on
cool?
LinkedIn be?"
Let me put that up on the
Yeah,
screen there. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you just mentioned that.
ideally 2 minutes, right? If you're just starting out, I would even say 1 minute or shorter, right? As you're initially building a brand, the shorter the better, because people don't know you yet, and so the quicker you get to the point, the quicker you say something, the better, right? But as you kind of build your brand and you have an audience and you have a following, some of my videos now for the network that I've built, I go to like 2 and sometimes 3 minutes, because I'd like to think that I've built trust with my audience. So if I'm going to say something, then they'll kind of stay a little longer to listen to it. But if you're starting out, I would say 1 minute or less. Mhm. And then the longer you are, 2 to 3 minutes.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that question, and great answer, Fanny. There you have it. That's where you want to be.
Thanks.
That's the sweet spot, the zone. If you're watching now, go ahead and ask any further questions that you may have down in the chat box. We can definitely get those answered. That's what Fanny's here for, is to answer your questions,
For
provide
sure.
value. You can get to know her, obviously. You can see her. I was just joking the other day, everything but smell you. I'm like, well, sometimes you almost can, based on like what they're doing. Like at the gym, you can kind of almost get a feel for like, yeah, it's kind of going on there, versus
Glad I
somebody
showered
sitting
today,
in a
Jeff.
library.
Thanks.
Yes. I'm glad you did too. We'll leave it up in the air as to whether or not I did, but we'll just leave that there. So, Fanny, let's talk about branding, because
Yes.
one of the things that I coach in my program is that we're not salespeople. You see, real estate agents aren't selling anything. We don't have anything
Mm-mm.
to sell. It's not my
Mm-mm.
house if I'm working with you. I'm helping you sell your home. If I'm working
Yeah.
with a buyer, it's not mine that I'm selling to them. It's somebody else's home. So we are marketers, and developing
Yeah.
a personal brand is super, super important. So how do we do that, and how do we do it effectively using LinkedIn?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't I first? I just gave a presentation to a client last week, and I started the presentation off by just clarifying the difference between sales and marketing, right?
Mm,
Sale or marketing and even branding gets people interested in something, right? It just piques their interest. And then they stick around a little bit to listen to it, right? Sales is getting them to buy something, right? We can't buy till we're interested in something. So those that lead with sales, it becomes this kind of like you hit a wall, right? It just doesn't work. And that's why we lead with branding and marketing, right? It really helps people just kind of, they don't even know they're interested in something, right? I don't even know I might be interested in, investing in a home in Colorado because I like to ski, right? But if somebody just plants a little seed in me through a cool marketing video of Colorado or something, then that's when like you're starting to kind of like drip little pieces of information into my head. And that's branding and marketing, right? So I thought maybe we can kind of pull up your profile, Jeff, if you're up
oh, you're
for
gonna put
it.
me on the spot. All
And
right,
let's talk through your LinkedIn profile and let's go
let's do
through
it.
and
All right,
see
I'll
how
bring up
you're
my
branding
LinkedIn
yourself.
profile. Hey, this is it. For those of you who have been watching my videos, we're connected. We're part of this tribe. Um, we talk about vulnerability. So here we go. Vulnerability at its finest. Let's hear it, Fanny.
I'll be kind, Jeff, I promise.
I know you will.
Hey, shout out to Scotty from Australia. Very cool. How are you, Scotty? So I think number one, and I think you've already done it right there, is your LinkedIn banner, right? A lot of people forget to do that, and it's this like blank gray space, but don't leave it unattended, right? Put something there, share with people what you do. You did that perfectly, right? Helping modern real estate agents make more money in a digital world. Perfect. It says what you do in one line, and it has your brand. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then so that would be number one. Make sure you have something for your banner. Number two is your photo, right? So I normally suggest people to make eye contact with their photo on their profile picture, because it's their little way of like seeing into who Jeff is, right? Or who that person is. And so I usually suggest like making sure that they can see your eyes in your profile photo, and then that way it makes this little tiny connection with the audience. Okay. Number three, so here you got that, which is happy and entertaining, but try for like a dead-on shot, Jeff. That's what I would recommend.
Absolutely. And I
Um,
have it. I have it. This is great. This is
there you
exactly what we
go.
need to know how
Yeah.
to set these things up for maximum efficiency. Cool.
Number three is your headline, right? So right now, realtor at EXP, sorry, my eyes are like
That's okay.
Realty and what was the last word there? There we go, entrepreneur. And so that's great. But I would even ask you to niche it down even more, right? There's tons of, I forgot the exact number of characters, but you have almost like 3 lines of text that you could put in your headline. And people are not going to click, right? So you really want to kind of like be in their view right from the beginning on your headline. So in there, I would ask people to maybe niche down to like, what is their industry? Maybe for real estate, do you concentrate on commercial real estate, home real estate, or certain cities that you concentrate on, or maybe like helping parents navigate moving to a new city or something like that, or helping Californians move to Texas and so forth. Like whatever that niche is, put it into your headline. And even for you, Jeff, like you have these regular live shows, I would even put that into your headline, going live every Wednesday to offer agents real estate, brand advice or whatever that is. Put all that into your headline. So I can just glance at it and get a really great general overview of what you do.
Okay, I don't want to get too deep on this, but is there any SEO keyword importance here or any
Yes.
specific tips? I know you mentioned stuff that's good for promotion and marketing and branding, but what about?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even if you want like keywords that you want to be known for or Googled for, like if I'm looking, when I type into the search bar and I'm looking for a, real estate agent, right? Like I'm going to type in the word real estate agent Dallas, for instance, right? And so it's important to have those words in there as well. For me, it's like video marketing, right? So I have those words in my headline. And so, yeah, it's definitely important for SEO and keyword search as well to get some of those words into your headline.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then do you notice where it says EXP Realty right
Yeah.
there on the right? You have this gray box. And what that is you probably didn't select from a drop-down menu the EXP Realty LinkedIn company page. Because normally that should be like a logo of that company. So what you need to do is if you scroll on down, if anyone out there notices, keep on scrolling, that their boxes is this like weird gray box, keep on going, in your experience, yeah, right there. You see you have little, make sure that when you click on that pencil to edit, you select the name of the company from the drop-down menu. And then that way that logo for EXP will load and the logo for Keller Williams will load. You see right there, you have Levy Restaurants, Levy's logo loaded, right? So that way it just kind of legitimizes the company that you're working for. Right?
Absolutely.
Just
And
quick little things to kind of like spice up your profile further.
I don't use this. I'm going to this point moving forward. I already have an audience of 3,000 followers, but I haven't
Yeah,
used this. So I'm really
for
excited
sure.
to just continue to dig in and make, because these are very basic things, you guys. And
Yes.
we're gonna share some things in a minute. And Fanny has some stuff for you that you can get that's going to help you just plug right in and be able to do this easily, or she can do it for you if you want.
Yeah.
What else on here?
And then there's, I don't know if you've turned on your featured section yet or not. If you scroll down, you don't have it yet, but there is a section in there called featured. And once you turn that on, this is where you can include links to a video post that you did to kind of like share with people, answering the top 5 questions that I get as a real estate agent and so forth, right? And it's almost like a little mini website, right? Where you can load videos or load LinkedIn articles. So people kind of like can go there and see you immediately and see you for a piece of content that, exemplifies you as a thought leader or an advisor or a coach or a consultant of what you do. So make sure you turn on the featured section of your LinkedIn profile, and then your about section.
Oh, let me go back to it.
I'm a huge proponent of lots of blank lines, bullet points, and different paragraphs. So if you go to your about section,
and we're going to show yours in just a minute. No, Fanny, so you guys can actually see what one really should look like. So I'm really going to model mine after Fanny's, but specific to my niche and my business. You guys can do the same thing. We'll show it to you here in just a minute. Scotty Schindler was like, excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah, Heidi loves the featured section.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great, right? Heidi wrote a book. So I'm betting that she posted about her book in her featured section, right? She wrote a book called The CEOs of Networking. So it's where you can kind of like, shine a bit of light on your services and your products.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then just final thing, go to your about section.
Okay.
Keep on. There we go. Right there. I'm a huge proponent of like separating out maybe just 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph, and separate it out to like, what do you do? What do you offer? Who do you help? Right? And then something personal about yourself.
All right, perfect. Heidi shared a link for her. I'm happy to do that. I know Heidi's a huge influencer in LinkedIn as well. And this community is about sharing and collaboration. So Heidi, thank you for posting that. And thank you for allowing yourself to do that by feeling comfortable in this environment, because it's super cool. It's going to provide more value to more people and help more real estate agents with their LinkedIn. So that is super cool. Thanks so much for doing that. You guys got that? We will also be posting these links and everything you're seeing down in the comments section. So if you're watching the replay or you want to come back and watch the replay, it's going to be obviously in YouTube. It'll all be down in the comments section. We'll have some pinned comments. You'll know how to get a hold of Fanny and so forth. But I want to show you, let's look at Fanny's. I actually have this right here.
Did I pass my own test?
We're going to pass your own test. So we're going to show yours right now. Can you see that okay on your end? I want to make sure you can. Okay. I hope our audience can see that as well. If you guys in the chat box, just let me know that you can see that. We're trying something a little different today. I can certainly share my screen as well if we need to, but if this works, we'll just go with it.
Yeah.
So point just like briefly, and then we're going to move on to some more specific tactics that realtors can use with LinkedIn. Just go over real quickly what you did, like point out what you were showing me to do, like what specifically on yours.
So banner wise, I put up my client's banner because I help them with a lot of promotional things, right? So that's what the banner that you see there in red, we commit, we deliver. That's one of my clients' taglines. But to your point, your profile with what you did with the banner, that's exactly what people should be doing. And then in the headline, as you can see where it says content marketing, video marketing, right? There's like a good 3 or 4 lines of text that you can use. So make sure you optimize that, right? So those are the keywords that I want to be searched for: content marketing, video marketing, employer branding. And then I tell people exactly what I do, like content strategists to coaches. That's the who, right? Who I serve, coaches and consultants. And then my niche, right? Technology industry, right? And then at the end, I just tell people like, follow me. Why should people listen to me? Why should they follow me for? So follow me for LinkedIn content tips, right? So it's a really quick summary so that people can just glance at it and know immediately what you do. So that if nothing else, if you leave here with nothing else, optimize your headline.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Well, and really like headline for sure, but having your profile page dialed in, because with the SEO that LinkedIn has, it's been around a long time. Somebody's going to Google you and your profession. LinkedIn is going to be one of the results. Wouldn't you agree, Fanny?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. LinkedIn will usually, unless your name is really common, Even then, you can add a city or a specialty. LinkedIn profile will become usually the top 3 to 5 Google search results.
Perfect. Okay. Before we move on, and we are going to move on, we do have a question regarding profiles, and it's from Scotty. How do you get 2 companies to show in your profile? Top right, like you have.
Yeah. You have to show that you're still current on. So, like Pathlinks is my own company, right? But I do a fair amount of work for this company called Delaware Consulting, which is a technology consulting firm. And I make sure that both of them show as my current employer, basically. So then they both show up as my latest. And then in there, you can maneuver which one you want to show up first. So whichever one, Scotty, that you want to show first, then make sure that's on top. And then for me, it's Pathlinks. And then the one right below it, you can put whatever other company that you're with. You can even do it in your banner, right? So you can have like half your banner for one company and half your banner for another company. And that way, like, boom, like right as soon as somebody sees it, they see both.
That's great. That's such a great tip. That is fantastic. And Scotty, and for all of you that are watching and listening, whether live or on the replay, we're going to share a resource for you here in a bit from Fanny to help you actually do that, very specifically how to do that. So, and you can always go back and watch this video as well if that helps. So, all right, cool. Well, Fanny, let's move on. Let me just check the chat and see if we have anything else. People are actually taking action right now, updating their
I
headline.
love it.
If
Nothing
I
like
was
the now.
listening, I know if I was listening and I wasn't controlling everything here and part of the show, I would be doing these things as well, even treating this almost like a workshop. So don't be afraid to go back and rewind and catch little sections of this
Sure.
and go from there. So, all right, let's talk about the power of comments. I mean, for most people who may be using Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media platforms for that matter, comments are a huge part of not only building an audience, but engaging with the audience and continuing to
Yes.
build those relationships to potentially even have clients at the end. So let's talk about the power of comments.
Yes. If you do nothing at all, if you never post, right, you can still build a network and find clients from comments alone. Okay, that's how powerful they are. Comments drive the algorithm, right? So the more comments that are on a post, the more it's going to be shown in other people's feed. That's on any social media platform, right? It just churns the algorithm, right? The more comments a post has, right? And I always tell people if they've been posting a lot, but they get no engagement and no replies on their posts, then a quick thing you can do is then to shift your strategy. And I recommend this to anyone. Spend at least 10 to 20 minutes a day just commenting on other people's feeds, right? But be strategic about it, right? So if you're in real estate, right, comment on other real estate agents' feeds, right? Or comment on potential target clients that you would want, right? Let's say you come from a technology background and you want to target technologists in the New York area because you want them to be your real estate clients or your buyers or sellers, right? Start to engage and comment in those posts that those people make, right? Because who doesn't love a comment and an encouraging one on their posts, right? And that's how you can kind of like start to get in front of people that you normally wouldn't get in front of, right? By acknowledging an article that they wrote, by supporting them, by congratulating them on a career milestone or something, right? I've met clients in comments because I post something and they say, oh, they really enjoyed something. And then I replied to them. And then I go to their profile and then I engage with their content and see what they're about and be truthful, right? Don't compliment for the sake of just, an ulterior motive, but like go there and engage. And then from there, a little relationship starts. Then we get into the direct messaging, and then sometimes we hop on a phone, and then sometimes there's been several cases where a comments has turned into a client. And then reply to every comment that you get on your posts. Nothing's more kind of defeating when you comment on somebody's post and it just gets ignored, right? Like if I comment on your post, Jeff,
right,
and at the very least you just give me like a thumbs up. It's like, well, I just wrote 3 sentences on your, right? Not to be like, an ulterior motive, but like it's an acknowledgement, right? If I say, hey, Jeff, I love your shirt. Are you just going to like do this to me? You're going to be, at the very least, thank you and acknowledge. But there's 3 things that you can include in a comments. You can acknowledge the person, point out something that you liked about their post, right? Secondly, add something of your own. Add an extra piece of advice or an extra tip of your own, right? So let's say you're commenting on a real estate, advisory article, right? And it's 5 tips to get in front of sellers or something. Comment on that and say, hey, great article, love those tips. I would also add a 6th tip, and my experience has been this and this have also worked. So in a way, you're kind of like giving advice inside a comment, right? And then you can also tag people and say, hey, I think Susan and Sally and Scott would also be interested in this article. Check this out, and tag them in your comment. So within that little comment, you acknowledge the creator, you offered advice, and you brought your friends in to learn as well. All in a comment.
All in one comment. And that just brings to the importance of understanding that there are human beings behind each one of these profiles. Like there are real people, and being able to interact in a real way as if you were sitting at a table with these people. And most of them you don't know. But if somebody were to engage with you and say, hey, Jeff, nice shirt, I'm not just going to look at them and go, I might look at them and go, yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I like where your shirt's just as nice. Where did you get that? Or, it's a conversation. So comments can turn into clients as long as there's a conversation, right?
Yes.
I love that. Conversations can turn into clients.
And we'll there you go. Great tagline. Conversations can turn into clients.
Right. Well, comments turn into conversations into clients. But like we've talked about, like structure, and you guys, that's a strategy right there. Like that's a very specific strategy. And you used a real estate example, 5 things that, for sellers, what have you. Super cool. All right. Let me see if we have any, Jason's mentioning right now, also find service providers to support those posts. Like we mentioned before, with like 15 or 17 different service providers provided, that are involved in a real estate transaction, let them know as well, right? Go into their posts and tag different friends and add value in those conversations.
Because what happens is, especially if you have a network, right? All of you guys in real estate and gals in real estate have a network, right? You have your agents, you have your brokerages, you have your lenders, title companies, right? To Jason's point. And that's your like team, right? That's your network. And if you were to all comment and engage on each other's posts, right? In an authentic, genuine way, then what happens is when you comment on my feed, then my network sees you, and then your network sees my post. And it becomes this win-win scenario, right? Because then we kind of increase each other's network as a result of a comment and a post, right? So that's how you kind of build from there.
Yeah, let's add another C to our list of C's that we're accumulating here. And that would be community.
Yes.
We're building communities. So it's all starting from a conversation, and in the context, another C of this, it's like,
we need a poster now.
I know, right? With all the different C's and how they all link together, but it all comes back.
to
Yeah.
community.
From a strategy perspective of commenting on other people's posts in LinkedIn,
Yeah.
becoming part of that. So we don't always have to be selling, you guys. We need to be solving. Stop selling and start solving, answering
Yes.
questions that people are already having. These questions are already occurring in groups. They're already occurring all over LinkedIn with people moving in and out of your area. It's just you as a matter of getting involved in those conversations. And one of the things is not just posting all about you and your listings and your buyers. And now testimonials are great because
Yeah.
those are people getting to know you, but get involved in these groups with LinkedIn and these people that are in there and other agents and service providers to show that you're there. You're at the table. You want to say hi and meet new people. Not here, I'm at the table to sell all of you guys something, right? Would you agree with that, Fanny?
Absolutely. I once heard a great ratio for that from Craig Fisher, a recruiter. He calls it the 5-to-1 give to ask ratio. Right?
Mm-hmm.
For every 5 posts that you just kind of give numbers and statistics and advice and tips, like don't ask anything, just share and create value. Then your 6 posts, then you can say something along the lines of, hey, if you've enjoyed the posts that I've had, make sure you connect with me or subscribe to my channel. Or if you're getting to the point where you'd like to have a chat, reach out to me, direct message me, and let's hop on a call. Right? But do that on the 6th, post. Right? Give first, create value, get them interested, right? That's the marketing branding side of it. Get them interested first before you even try to sell.
You nailed it. Be more interested than you
Mm,
are interesting. I'll say
right.
that again. Be more interested than interesting. And in this case, do it 5-to-1.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much. It doesn't take that time. You mentioned, 10 to 15 minutes earlier just to dig in,
Yeah.
get your profile. Fanny, you've shared a ton of stuff. You have a starter course, don't you?
I
And I
do.
know
Yes.
people are going to want to like dig in and like really get this right. So tell us a little bit about your starter course.
Yeah. I've gotten to a point where I just can't be one-on-one with a lot of people anymore. And so I kind of summarized everything into this quick 1 hour, what I call a starter course. And in it, you're going to learn how to build your brand. And I have an exercise in there actually to find and define your unique brand. And it's going to be able to pull from all these different aspects of you, including your expertise, your strengths, your hobbies, and your values, and how that all forms your unique brand. So I'll help you define your unique brand. I'll help you throw like a whole bunch of ideas for you on how to create great videos and great content. And then I even throw in like a worksheet of like how to define your target clients and customers, as well as like a content calendar in there. And it's all just for $49. I wanted to make something like really affordable and accessible to anyone and everyone. And there's the link right there.
You got it. Go ahead. If you're interested in getting LinkedIn going more, Fanny is the one. She has dropped some bombs, some knowledge. Great conversation today. Obviously, you can see how important LinkedIn. We have some great shares, some things that our C's are really catching on. Fanny, conversation
I
leads to
love it.
clients equals, do you see that? The emoji with the money symbol, right? But it doesn't go the
Yeah.
other way. We can't be money focused. We need to be
No.
value focused and
Mhm.
building our audience and creating our networks and so forth. Somebody else, I think Heidi also like stop selling and start solving. It's really the truth, guys, and LinkedIn is a great platform to be able to do that. Affluent network. Fanny shared some numbers earlier on the amount of content that's being shared over the
Yeah.
year before. It's through the roof.
Yeah.
So Fanny, before we wrap up here, and put a bow on it, this has been awesome. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yes.
What would you leave our audience with? Real estate agents who
Mm.
are going to look at this and go, you know what? I need to do something with LinkedIn, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to really dig in. I'm going to get Fanny's course, and it's going to be awesome. What would you leave our viewers with today and our listeners to take action right away?
Yeah. First of all, for those that have been like hesitating and standing by the sidelines, I have a hashtag that I always say, like hashtag do it scared. Right? If you've never done a video, just start. Right? Do it scared. Do it even if you're nervous and your heart's pounding. Right? You always have to start somewhere. I'm sure your heart was pounding when you first learned to ride a bike. Right? And really provide value. Like if you don't know where to start, I go back to that tip at the beginning. Jot down the 10 most frequently asked questions you get in your business, and then create a video or a piece of content to answer each one of those questions. Right? That's in its very simplest form, the quickest and most direct way to get to your clients and to get to potential buyers and sellers, right? Because if those are the questions that you're always getting asked, then those are the things that you need to be providing value on and sharing with people even more, right? And that's a really quick, tactical, targeted way to get your information out there and know that it's of value to people.
Love it. Love it. Heidi had put earlier, mic drop. It's fantastic. Great way to end the show today. This has been fantastic, Fanny.
Thank
And
you
I want to
so
wish
much for
you,
having me, Jeff.
oh my
I
gosh,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
we're going to have to do
Yeah,
this again.
for sure.
There's so much more that we can dig into, and we want to share more. So make sure and get Fanny's program there. I know it's awesome. I'm going to actually get it because I need to get all my stuff dialed in as well.
There you
Thanks
go.
again for being here. If you guys are new to the channel, or if you're new to any of my videos, or you're back again and you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we're going to keep doing this every week, and we're going to keep bringing on incredible entrepreneurs that have shown levels of success and what they've done in their business, and how you as real estate agents can take what they're doing, implement it into your business, and reach the same levels of success as the people that we're bringing on. So again, Fanny, thank you so much for being here. Happy
Thank you,
holidays to
Jeff.
you and your
You
family. We
too.
can't
Happy
wait till next
holidays.
time. Take care.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.